Well, the first issue, which is a priority for the British government and also for the new administration, is actually to work together to develop a new free trade agreement between the United Kingdom and the United States once Britain has exited the European Union in 2 years' time. That is vitally important for both countries. It's vitally important for Britain because as we leave the European Union, the British government has made it very clear that we are not turning our back on free trade, we're not turning our back on economic engagement with the rest of the world, and that quite the contrary, we are going to use Brexit as an opportunity to build stronger trading relationships right across the world, and particularly with faster growing parts of the global economy. And within that, we include the United States, which has been for a while now one of the fastest growing advanced economies, as well as the world's biggest market and biggest economy. So that is very important for us. But it's also very important for the United States because Britain is one of the biggest trading partners of the United States, but also Britain is the biggest investor in the United States, and the United States is the biggest investor in Britain. So we have a lot at stake in each other's economy. Hundreds of thousands of jobs on both sides of the Atlantic are dependent on investments from American companies in Britain and by British companies in the United States. We have examples of that here in Tennessee. We have companies like HCA and Arcadia that have investments in the UK. We have British companies like Tate and Lyle, like Smith and Nephew that have big investments in Tennessee and are keeping jobs going here. And we want to build on that, and a free trade agreement will do an awful lot to strengthen those and to build more opportunities for business on both sides of the Atlantic. So that's a big priority for engagement between Britain and the new administration. Another area where we are heavily engaged is around NATO, and in particular the first meeting of the Prime Minister and the President back in January focused a lot on what we can do together to make sure that all the members of NATO are putting enough money and resources into their defence budgets. Britain has always been one of the main military pillars of the NATO alliance. We have always spent above the NATO target for spending on defence. We have very flexible, capable armed forces which are extremely adept at interoperability with the United States. And indeed, we share a lot of kit. For example, the new F-35 Joint Strike aircraft is being flown by the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy, as well as by the US Air Force and the US Marine Corps. And again, that is being developed in such a way that we can each fly off each other's aircraft carriers without any problems. So NATO has been another priority area for engagement and discussion between the British and the American government since the election of President Trump and his inauguration. Okay, well, I think there's several things that I would want Tennesseans to know about the British business and economic environment. The first one is that Britain is an extremely business-friendly place to operate in. We have had governments for a while now who have done an awful lot to make the business environment the best that there can be in the world. They have done a lot to move on deregulation. They have a one-in, two-out policy over regulations. They've done a lot to reduce business tax, which came down from 28% to 20%, now to 19%, and is going to go down to 17% by 2020. They've done a lot to build on innovation and build a very innovative environment for companies. So we have a strong science base in the UK, but we have introduced tax credits that help companies that want to do their research and development in Britain. And for example, if you patent a new product in the UK or a new service in the UK, you will only pay 10% business tax on royalties derived from that patent. We're also doing a lot to improve the infrastructure in the UK, and just this autumn, this fall, since the Brexit vote, the British government has moved forward to confirm that they will be expanding Heathrow Airport, that they will be building the new high-speed rail link from London to the Midlands and then on to the north of England, and also they have moved forward with the new nuclear power stations built. So that, taken together with reforms of education that have happened in the last 5 years, the strong science base, the pro-business environment, and the tax environment, means that Britain is a great place for Tennessean companies to come and do business, both in Britain but also more widely in the Middle East, in Europe and Africa, Britain is a great place to do business in and from. The other thing I'd like people to know about Britain is that we are and remain a very outward-facing global economy, and that we are going to take the opportunity of Brexit to do more trade deals around the world and to further integrate ourselves in the world economy. And that is something that the British government is strongly committed to. And then thirdly, I would just want to highlight some of the particular sectors of the UK economy that people may not be aware of. First of all, the automobile sector. Again, people might know about Jaguar Land Rover and might have thought a bit about Mini Cooper, but the UK automobile sector is actually now one of the strongest in Europe. We are, after Germany, the biggest providers of high-quality automobiles coming from Europe. We produce cars such as Bentley, Lotus, Jaguar Land Rover, Mini, Rolls-Royce, and many others, which are in that sweet spot of being precision engineered, high-tech, and actually with a lot of value added. We also are a mass producer of automobiles as well, and just one plant in the United Kingdom, the Nissan plant in Sunderland, actually produces more automobiles than the whole of the Italian economy produces. And we're also extremely good at the advanced engineering and design part of automobiles, and a lot of that is spin-off from the Formula One industry, most of which is based in the area between London, Birmingham and Bristol in the United Kingdom. So that is, again, a very strong asset. I would also highlight the life sciences sector of the United Kingdom. Again, a lot of that is, people will know about companies like GlaxoSmithKline. They will also know about AstraZeneca, but we have a lot of huge clusters of smaller companies in the life sciences sector, leveraging off the great universities that we have that lead on this. Universities like Manchester University, Newcastle University, Cardiff, which are strong specialist university in life sciences. And then finally, I would just highlight the aerospace sector. After the United States, Britain actually has the world's second biggest aerospace sector. We have Rolls-Royce, the world's second biggest producers of aero engines. We have Airbus, and all the wings for Airbus aircraft are manufactured in the UK, in Wales. We also have BAE Systems, GKN, and many others that make aircraft components and parts. So again, that's an area of great strength for Britain, and great partnership with the United States and with states like Tennessee. Absolutely. So we have a consulate in Atlanta. This is one of 8 consulates general that the United Kingdom has across the US. From Atlanta, we cover the states of Georgia, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. And in that consulate, we have various teams. We have a consular team that looks after British nationals who run into problems. We have a corporate services team. We have a science attaché, and we have a political and press team. And we also have a representative of the Welsh Government. But probably the most relevant section for businesses is we have a big team from the Department for International Trade. And their job is to help British companies come to market in the southeast of the United States, but also to help companies in the southeast who want to invest in the UK or set up an office in the UK, land in the UK, and we can put them in touch with appropriate partners, with industries that can service them, lawyers and bankers, etc. And also help with such things as site selection, and also give them an overview of the UK particular sector that they want to become engaged in that time.